Hello, everyone. This is Adiola from New York City. You're watching Pregame with Girlfriend. I'm your host, and this is going to be our first episode ever in this show. And we have a really great guest today. Her name is Neil. Welcome.
Oh, thank you for having
Oh
me.
my God, thank you so much for coming.
I'm new. I lived in New York City for over 20 years. I'm a part-time content creator, a full-time tax accountant slash CPA. I practice in the state of New York and New Jersey.
Oh my God, that is so exciting. She is a big badass of a woman. I appreciate you for that. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
So today we are going to be discussing this topic, and I feel like everybody's probably relate to a lot of this topic. So the first topic is going to be getting married, the pressure of getting married at some certain age. And the second one is going to be how does she navigate having to be a content creator and a CPA accountant as well. We'd love to know about that. And the third one is going to be you live in you say you've been in New York for 20 years, right?
Yes.
So how do you make friend and how do you preserve that friend? How do you make that work? So let's dive in. Let's dive in. Okay. The first question, like I said, the pressure of getting married at some point, because I'm from Nigeria and I know I had this pressure a lot of time because in Nigeria this is probably common because people think at some 25 years old you should be married, and at 26 if you're not married but you're still in a relationship they're probably going to be pressuring you or the guy, and at 30 if you're not married yet they feel like something
It's
is
looked
wrong
down
with you,
upon.
and they probably take you to church or something or tell your mother to go and wash your hair. Literally that happens. So tell
Yeah,
me.
being from the Caribbean, it's also similar, and you just have to take your stand at some point because navigating the Caribbean household or even your Caribbean family or friends that it's looked down upon because it's like, okay, from a tender age, everyone is like promised this at certain age, the white picket fence, the kids at this age, and then you married. And so if you not have that kind of lined up or you don't have that equation,
Right.
and it's like, okay, the constant comparison, okay, your cousin this did this, or this my friends from church daughter did this,
Oh
and it's like
my. The pressure.
the pressure
Whew.
of being married and having kids, and then at a certain time because everyone's like, okay, everyone as a young girl dream about being a princess and dream about this happy ending, but as you get older your priorities change and happiness looks different to everyone and
Right.
success looks different to everyone, and like I've learned during my 30s when it didn't happen, it was just like, okay, it didn't happen because whatever reason. And it's like, are you sad that it didn't happen in that way? Or you just sad because society standard or your parents said that you should have? And then once I took all of that out of the equation, I'm like, okay, I don't care what my happiness looks like
Right.
to anyone else.
Right.
And I don't think I have to explain it, or me not having kids or me not being married at this age. I'm now 40. It's like, oh wow, but the question is, are you happy? And I
Right.
see a lot of people in relationships, it's like,
Right.
okay, they're only with their partner because they don't want to be looked down upon, and I'm like,
They want to match the society expectation.
yes.
Right.
And once you remove that from the equation, it's a game changer.
And it's so hard because I feel like people don't usually ask you, are you happy? It's such a things that they ask people that already have kids or have, because that's more like a life acquirements that you have to have. So they don't ask you if you're happy. It's like, where's your boyfriend? Where is your husband? Where's your kid?
Yes, or even when you have you married now, and it's like, okay, when are you going to be married? When are you going to have your first kid?
Freak.
And not understanding, like, or maybe people are struggling differently. People are struggling financially, probably struggling with fertility, struggling with different stuff, and it's like no one ever take a step back to be like, okay, maybe she don't want kids, or maybe she's having problem in this department.
Right.
Let me be more sensitive to that. But that's never the discussion. It's
Right.
always, when are you going to be married? When are you
Right.
going to have kids? Did I have the discussion with anyone that I wanted to be married?
Oh, Yes, it's such a thing. I got married as soon. I actually got in a relationship as soon as I got graduated from college, and this guy was everything that I've ever wanted. And it's just like everybody think, oh my God, they're such a like a power couple, and she's gonna get married. I mean, I was happy. I got flown out everywhere. But at the same point, it's just like I don't have a brain for myself because he has to think for everything, literally everything. I mean, I got taken care of. People wash plate dishes for me, clean my clothes. But at the same time, it's just like, when does that end?
But were you happy?
That's the problem.
You had
Nobody
all the
asked me
finer
that.
things in life, but was
Nobody
that
asked
making
me
you
that.
happy?
No, nobody asked me that until I said no. Like, this is it. Like, I'm not going through with the wedding, with all the engagement and invites already been out. I had to like took a stand and like, this is enough. I don't want to be like this. And everybody said, "Oh my God, she's so stupid. Why would she do that?" Where does that end? I
Yeah, and that's what I said. But my first initial reaction was like, once I realized that I don't care what my happiness looks like to anyone, or I don't think that I need to explain it to anyone,
right,
and I set boundaries and I stood by them.
right,
That's when I feel it was such a game changer. It was, I didn't have to explain it to anyone.
right,
Everyone get the memo, and it's like, okay, stop asking me about this.
right.
You're making me feel uncomfortable. I feel pressured, and I'm like, I don't, I don't subscribe to this because
Good.
I pay my own bills. I make it do what it do.
Okay, that's the word for today. Subscribe for all those kind of expectation. Unsubscribe. Click it right
Yep,
now. But only
that's it.
only subscribe to this one. Pregame with girlfriend. We got the dates anyway. So the second question is, I'm actually curious that I mean I always see that you create content all the time, and being an accountant, it's not like something that it's, oh my God, it's so easy. I just go to work and I look pretty and that's it. And you're like an accountant slash CPA. God, how do you manage that?
Well, it's all about time management and again, finding that happy place. Because once I figured the formula out and I was like, okay, this is what ultimately makes me happy. Because if I do the things that makes me happy, I'm ultimately a better friend,
Right,
I'm a better person, I'm a better
right,
human being, and I can be a better citizen to society.
right.
And me creating content, that's my outlet. I genuinely love creating. If you know me and you know me as a person personally, you know that I will always create stuff. And even when I was living in Guyana, I will cut my jeans, make this, makes it. So I've always been a creative.
Creative. Yeah.
So me finding time, I create most of my content in the weekends because I work full time.
Right.
I'm in the office 3 or 4 days a week. So
Right.
and I'm working from home too, or sometimes one day a week, depends on the season. My tax season starts the first week in February and it goes up until April 15th, and then it starts back again the last week in August and it go until October 15th.
Right.
And I generally enjoy creating content. Like
Right.
that's my creative outlet. If I feel stressed during tax season, I create. And
Right.
once you find that thing in life that makes you happy, whether it be a relationship, travel, being having a side hustle,
Right.
once you find that thing, it no longer feels like a job.
That is so true. I actually do believe that. And you know what? Like, I feel like being a content creator, if you have the gene, you should be okay. Oh my God. What is that behind you? Sorry about that. That was, oh my God. That was a clickbait of the day. That was scary. But anyway, as you were saying, was saying something, right? Oh, about content creator. I feel like if you have this creative gene in you and you actually enjoy creating content, you wouldn't feel like it's a job to you. Sometimes you might be drained from it because it's a lot, but
Yeah.
sometimes you can have so much fun. So I feel like you find the balance in it.
Yeah, because once you find a balance and once you could listen to your body and listen to your even your inner person to be like, okay, I'm drained. It's
Right.
okay to take a break, because you will see after time I will just go silent on social media for 3 weeks at a time. I'm not posting anything. That's where my creative juice is low, when my social battery is done, and it's like, okay, I just need this time to be alone to think, or even just to go to work and just come back home.
Right. That actually makes sense because yeah, I understand where you're coming from, and I just feel like sometimes it's okay for us to pull back and just reevaluate what you're doing.
Yeah.
But even though it makes you happy, but it's okay to feel like, oh my god, I'm draining. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Because also being in corporate America, being a black female in corporate America
Yes.
of West Indian descent, I don't see a lot of people like me. And even when I do see them, it's like they're not in the managerial position,
Right.
or so it's I constantly have to show up times two
Right.
every single time I go into the office, or even if I go to the client site, because it's like, okay, I have to not only do the work, I have to put on a persona in order
Right.
to be like, as much as you want to be like, oh, don't convert to them. I mean, that makes life a little bit easier for me because
Right.
I'm not constantly have to defend what I know or defend any of my degrees or my work quality or my
Yes.
work product. It's just like, that's just how the cookie crumbles. I know that I graduated since December of '06. So I've been in the corporate space for quite some time, and that's just what works for me. I'm not saying that um anyone to convert to it, but
Right.
that's what works for me. I'm not constantly have to defend myself. I'm the only tax manager within my function in the New Jersey office, and I don't. They, to be honest, they never made me feel like I was alone or I was the
Right.
only bad girl. I never felt that way.
Which is
And
so good.
yes, and that's why I always say, even like when I speak to my family, like, "Oh, how was work?" I'm like, I really do enjoy it, and this is the first time in years I've been in corporate America that I can actually say this.
Oh my god, this
Be-
is so much fun to hear.
yeah, because it's like I show up as myself. I don't ever have to downplay my work product or my quality of work or anything just to fit into this mold of like, oh no, do you
Right.
want to come to happy hour? I don't have to do that. And this is
Right.
probably the first time in a long time I feel so like I can own my career,
Mhm.
for the lack of better words.
Oh my God, that is so good to hear because it's so hard this day for people like us to feel belong in a workplace, which is so even it's not even like your corporate world, even in content creator, like it is so hard for you to compare. Like if you people like us, like you people of color and like 100K followers, and somebody with other side of it that have like 20,000, they probably get more paid than you because you have to start defending how you get that followers,
Yes.
how grow yourself, what you do, which is like it's so tough. So I get that, and I appreciate that you're working with the people and the environment that appreciate you, that just take you for who you are, that you don't have to defend that.
Yes. And it's a bittersweet spot
Mhm.
because it's like, okay, I still, after going through that trauma all those years, I
Right.
still feel like, okay, do I relax or do I still have to show up 120% every day?
Right.
And even working from home, like you don't want your computer to go dead. You want to make sure you're active. You want to make sure you're responsive. You want to make sure you're meeting deadlines. And it's like, okay, right now, I'm so grateful for this space I'm in. It's
Right.
like the reason I'm able to create content or create a high quality content that I create these days because I'm truly happy.
Oh
And
my
I don't
God.
care what that happiness looks like to anybody else. It's like, hey, you're glowing, you're this. And I'm like, yes, because I did the inner work. I showed up for
Right.
myself. I did therapy. I did all of that stuff in order to heal from whether it be my childhood trauma, it would be neglect, regrets, everything else. It's like
Yes, you
I
rise
don't
above it
care
all.
what my happiness looks like to anyone, and I make no apologies for it.
Unapologetic queen. We love that. We love
Yeah.
that. I love that for you as well. So that brings me to the third question. You said you've been in New York City for 20 years, long more than I do. So how do you keep friends? How do you navigate keeping friends, or how do you make friends in New York City?
Well, for me, making friends is the easy part. Is because I always shows up as my authentic self,
Right.
and that's why people gravitate to me. If I say it, if I say, okay, I'll help you do this, or I'll show up at 9 o'clock, whether it be snowing, raining, or that's what I stay true to.
Like today,
Yes, I
you're
stay
busy.
true. Oh, you're welcome. I stay true to what I say, and that and because I know who I am
Right.
and what I bring to the table, I'm very um I'm very cautious
Right.
of who I let into my circle,
Right.
because I don't want ever want to not be able to show up as 100% myself,
Right.
or be fake, or not show up as my authentic self, because I
Right.
have to dim my light to make someone else feel
Feel
comfortable,
comfortable.
or
Right.
um no,
I drink to that.
I, I just want to make sure that I'm being authentically myself, and with that I attract my tribe.
Oh my, yes, that is such a perfect way to say it. Like, I haven't been in New York City as long as you have, obviously, but it's just like sometimes when I'm making friend, I feel like I always have to start asking myself this question, like, does this person really want to be my friend, or do they just need something from me? Like,
Yeah.
is this something that they need? That's why they're being friend with you. Because me, if I make a friend, I make a friend for life. Like, I'm the kind of person that reach out to you first. I don't care. I still reach out to you because I want you to know that I'm here for you no
Yeah.
matter what. Like, and I mean it when I say no matter what, which is so hard because some people you don't know. Like, it's so hard.
Yes, and even in New York City is a melting pot.
Whew.
It's like you can meet people from all walks of life, but if you don't protect your space, or protect
Your
what
piece.
you're bringing to the table, you can be drained. And
Yeah.
I've been to that place where it's like, okay, you want to be friends with, you want to be the friendly girl, and it's like
Right.
it doesn't work like that, because then you can't show up as your authentic self, or you
Right.
can show up 110% or even 100%, because it's like you have this clique of friends, and you have this clique of friends, and even within the influencer space, it's like
Right.
it could be such a lonely place. It could be such a, okay, I just want to be friends with you because you do these kind of events, or you go here, or you go there. But it's like,
The
okay,
truth right there.
once you know what you're bringing to the table, that's all that matters. And it's
Right.
like, okay, I can be a true friend, and it depends on you as an individual, or even how you were raised.
Right. That is so true. I actually did say everything that you are saying is so true. It can be so scary too because making friends is so tough.
Yeah, it's so tough even in your adult life, because
Right.
it's like a lot of times you don't share the same interests, because as much as, and even sometimes you outgrew friends that you really love and adore, but it's like, okay, our interests are no longer, I don't longer have a husband, I don't have a husband to report to, so I could be like, hey, you want to meet up for brunch on Sunday, and I don't have
Right.
to figure out, okay, do I have a babysitter, or do I have this? So a lot of time friendship doesn't go because you have beef per se, or but it's
Right.
just your interest is no longer the
The
same, and
same.
it's like, okay, you might have a birthday party, kids birthday party to go to. That's my cup of tea. I don't have kids. I don't have any desire to hear a bunch of kids screaming. That's just
True that.
it's just not me. And it's like it doesn't make you better than me, or me better than you, or you any less of a
Because
person.
there's a
It's
fine
just,
line.
yes, it's just our interest is no longer aligning, and you may have your mommy group now, and I have my single friends group that we want to get drunk at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sundays.
Yes. And that should be okay,
Yeah.
period. You know what? Like, this is so amazing that we get to talk about it. So, before we close the show, the question that I want to ask everyone and you as well is, are you still close with the people that you went to school with, like in middle school? Do you still talk to them? Do you follow each other on Facebook? Because I do. So, I want to hear what you think.
Um,
Please.
I'm not as close with my high school friends, because also I migrated to the US, and my thinking have changed, my environment have changed. I outgrew some spaces, so
Right.
it's not that we're not friends anymore, but we're not that close knit, because again, I've been exposed to
Different
different things.
culture.
Yeah, different culture, different spaces. I'm well traveled, I'm well versed, so it's not like, okay, I'm better than you. But once I circle back the block and go home together, hey, do you want to meet up for dinner? But it's just
Right.
like,
And that option still open.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not like any beef or anything. Again, um, they might have kids and husbands. I don't.
Oh my God. So let me tell you a story right now. And it might sound so weird. When I was in middle school, there was this girl. I thought she was the most gorgeous girl in the whole wide world. Like, I literally meant that. Like, I am so jealous of her. I mean, I do have a perfect teeth ever since I was a kid because my father was a doctor. So it's like, don't eat chocolate. So I don't, still now, I
Yeah.
don't eat sugar and chocolate. But this girl, she was perfect. She's always on a clean iron
It
clothes.
goes,
I'm like, she's like a pristine of all
yes.
girls. I mean, we
She's
still
that
talk
girl.
like she's that girl. Like, even I'm gonna say this because it's true. I actually did call her a lot of letter to give to this girl. And I was like, she's my friend. Of course I would do that because she's so on point.
Gorgeous.
Now I see this girl on Facebook and I keep like literally this keep me up every night just by thinking about it. Is this girl? Like, how could somebody go from this and go this way?
Yep.
That's stress right there because
And that
oh my God.
that alone in itself says that's how life
Oh
changes,
my
that's how
God.
perspective changes, because you could have been like in a naive state, like okay, or maybe because you was just in Nigeria in that space, you never
Right?
was exposed to anything. I'm like living in a big city like New York City, you see all types of people. Like sometimes
True.
I sit on the train and I'll be like, oh my God, her skin is so gorgeous. I'm like, oh my God, it's so dark and so rich and
Perfect.
perfect. And I'm like, I just want to ask her, what do you do to maintain your skin? And that's just how perspective changes. And then you
Oh
might
my
see
God.
another East Indian girl from some other place in the
Right.
world, and it was like, okay, yeah, she's very pretty. She has this kind of feature, or she has high cheekbones, or
Right.
her smile is so beautiful, or something like that. And you're like, did I really think that she was
Oh
beautiful?
my
Or yeah,
God. That is so true. Like, it is so
yeah,
weird. Like, that keeps me up at night. I'm like, why do I think she's that girl? Why do I take letter from this girl? No shade to you if you're watching this, but it's just like I'm still a close friend with her. She's still one of my bestest friend. But it's just like, like beauty change in a lot of way. You have to stop looking at the beauty and stick with the people personality. It's just like
yeah.
you might be this now in 2 years it just go like that. That's just it. So
And
it's
that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And it's just
thank
like,
you.
um, again, it doesn't make you any less of a person,
And
or it doesn't make
too.
you better than a person. It's like, okay,
Vice versa.
um, what is going to be said about you when you leave the room? And that's why it's like so important to be authentic, be a true
Right.
friend, instead of being like a, because they're all gold digger friends too. We
Trust
always
me.
say gold digger. Oh, you're with this man for to be a gold digger. They're gold digger friendships too, because it's like, okay, let me be friends with her so she can invite me to this, or we can go to these events, or we can go to these restaurants. And it's like, okay, are you genuinely here, or are you just here for like the social media persona?
That's a
And
good question.
that's, once you know that you're a good person, you're going to be a good person within
Right.
corporate America, within your family spaces, within your friendship spaces. It's like
Right.
you're just going to be a good person, because
Right. It's
those are the morals and the values that follows you.
yes, that is so true. I couldn't say it any more better. Like, this is so perfect. Like, talking about this make me feel like, yes, this is how, people need to think. And I just want to thank you again for, coming to all the way from New Jersey to
Oh,
my house in Brooklyn to do this with me and just hang out with me and eat Thai food and drink
yes.
rose, and she's
And
drinking
water,
water.
yeah.
Rose and water, which is so much fun. I had so much fun. And thank you so much for coming to this episode and launch my first episode with you. I couldn't think of
Oh,
anybody else. And
thank you so
and
much for
your
having
name is
me.
Newly, like
Right,
Neil.
you.
So this is gonna be so much fun. I hope you come again when I invite you. And obviously, it's gonna be outside my apartment without the old crawling thing. Yeah, that's scary. But thank you so much for coming.
And
Cheers to
thank you so
you,
much for
God.
having me. Cheers.
Cheers to you, God.
Cheers to
Thank you.
you.
And thank you guys so much for watching this episode. And I will see you guys in the next episode. And do not forget, this is Pregame with Girlfriend. And this is a show that thinks about life, that made about life for you and by you as well. So it's for you and by you as well. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram as well as our live www.pregame.girlfriend.com, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.